welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a makeup tutorial using only e.l.f. cosmetics. So if you guys want to see how I created this look using all e.l.f. makeup, then just keep on watching. Alright, so I'm going to start by prepping my skin with the Prep and Hydrate Balm. I've been talking about this a lot recently. And basically it's just like a hydration stick. It feels like a gel, but it's super lightweight, and I just like to apply it everywhere and let it sink into my skin while I do my eye makeup. And it usually dries down within like 2 minutes, but I'm just gonna do it before I do the rest of my makeup to make sure it's all set in. I'm gonna start off with my brows, and I'm gonna use the e.l.f. brow pomade. This is in the shade medium brown, and it's called Lock and Liner and Brow Cream. So it could be used as an eyeliner too, I guess. I've used it, I thought I only used it once, but it looks like I've used it 100 times. So I think I just like mixed it up to get a lot of product out. And I'm using this eyeliner brush from e.l.f. It's like a brow slash eyeliner brush. It's from their Beautifully Precise line. And I've used this a couple times too. I'm a little nervous because I'm really bad with brow pomades. But so far this has been my favorite brow product from e.l.f. It gives like a really natural look. And I'm also missing brow. Like, part of my brow just isn't there anymore. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. I plucked my brows. Like, I overplucked my brows. And I just didn't realize I lost my brow tail. So I'm going to attempt to recreate my brow tail using this pomade. And hopefully they look decent. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the pomade and build it up. Alright, brows are done, and I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes. I'm using the e.l.f. HD Concealer as an eyeshadow primer. And I've used this concealer several times already. It's really lightweight. And this is just a shade Fair, which isn't too light. I'm just going to blend that out with my fingers. And then I'm also topping it off with a setting powder. So this is actually the powder I've been using daily to set my eyeshadow primer. And it's the Finishing Powder in Fair Light. I've hit pan on it. I've been using it non-stop, and I like to use it under my eyes too. So I'm just going to use this all over. It's a really finely milled powder, and it matches me pretty well. So I just like to use this as an eyeshadow base. So I know for eyeshadow, I'm going to use my favorite e.l.f. palette, which is the Mad for Matte 2 palette. I'm going to do just like a neutral base, and then I'll play with what I'm going to do on the lid. And I'm going to start off with my Sigma E40 brush, which is my blending brush for every day. And I'm using this third shade, which is like a warm brown color. It's really neutral. It's basically the same kind of shade I like to start all my looks with. And it's really easy to blend out. And I am putting eyeshadow like everywhere right now, but what I'll do is just go back in with a lighter shade under my brow bone since I have my eyeshadow so high. But I just like to start that way and then clean it up. Sometimes since I have like a ton of lid space, if I do my eyeshadow just to like here, it looks weird, so I like to do more and then just blend it out later. So I'm going to mix together the shade I just used and then a little bit of this orange brown shade into my crease, just to deepen it up a little bit. But I want more of the brown because I don't want it to be too warm. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit of this dark brown shade, but I definitely don't want to go overboard with it. And I'm just going to use a little bit of it in like the outer third of my crease. So for my lid, I'm going to use one of the liquid eyeshadows, and this is the one in the shade Mocha Metal. I've used this a few times, but not with like a really deeper look. So it is kind of bronze. I hope it's not too dark. If it is, I'm just going to go over with like a goldish shade. I'm just going to apply this all over the lid and see what the color looks like. So while this shade is still tacky, I'm going to go in to the Prismatic eyeshadow palette. And I want to use a bronzy shade to lighten this up a bit. So I'm gonna go in with just like a flat shader brush, and I'm using this bronzy shimmer shade. I'm just gonna top that, yeah, to lighten up the shade. So I'm just gonna repeat on the other side, and then I have like fallout all over the place. That looks insane, but it's gonna look good once I clean it up in a second. So I'm just gonna add that liquid eyeshadow. And this is basically just like a base. It is pretty dark on its own, but it'd be pretty for like a smoky eye look. I just wanna have it look a little bit more summery and bronze. Alright, so I'm just going to use a makeup remover wipe from E.L.F. and take care of my intense fallout situation. And then I'll go back and highlight my brow bone so it doesn't look crazy either. So I just like to take it on an angle and wipe away any fallout. And then also in my inner corner. I'm going to do a wing using the E.L.F. liquid liner. I have not used this for a full wing before. So let's see how it goes. So I think that's as good as we're gonna get for wings. This one's looking a little rough, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna put on some mascara. I've been using this mascara all month actually, and it's a really good separating mascara. I think it's the E.L.F. volumizing mascara. I'll link it below for you guys. The only thing with the eyeliner was that the felt tip is a little bit thicker, so it's really hard to get the edge of the wing. But on my actual eye, it applied really smoothly, but to get that edge was just a little bit more complicated than I like. So I probably won't reuse that liquid eyeliner, but everything else so far has been pretty good. So the lashes I'm going to use are the winged and bold lashes from the Luxe Lash Kit. I've really been liking the E.L.F. lashes, and these are totally my style. I might need to, yes, I think I'm going to need to trim them a little bit because they are a little bit long on the outer edge. So I'm going to pop these on real quick, and then we'll move on to my face makeup. So lashes are on, and I really like them. They have a black band, so it makes it really easy to blend in with eyeliner. And I'm going to move on to the face. I'm using the Hydrating Face Primer. I've used this a ton already. It is hydrating, and it also is kind of tacky too, so your foundation does stick on really nicely on top of it. And I'm going to be mixing together two foundations on a foundation brush from E.L.F. I'm using this oil-free foundation. I'll leave the name of it below. And I actually really like this foundation. It's in the shade Sand, and this one is a little pink for me. So I'm going to use like 2 pumps of this one and just a little bit of the foundation serum in the shade Fair Light. This on its own basically disappears into my skin, but it does have more of a yellow base. So I'm mixing them together to kind of match me a little bit better. And this foundation brush from E.L.F. is actually a brush I use almost daily. It's one of my go-to foundation brushes because it is pretty dense. And I just like to apply my foundation with this and then buff it out with a beauty blender. I'm going to apply this orange corrector under my eyes. This is just a dark under eye corrector concealer pen, and it is kind of orange. It is an orange corrector. It's not super like peachy, so it doesn't give like too much of a brightening effect, but it does do a good job with dark circles. So I don't want to apply too much, and I'm just using the Beauty Blender buffer or blusher and blending it out. So you guys can see that did a pretty good job with dark circles. It actually does look like I'm wearing some concealer already. And I'm using the HD concealer, the same concealer I used for my eyeshadow primer. And I feel like I'm almost done with this because I have been using it a lot this month. And it does have more of like a neutral tone to it. But this does dry pretty quickly, I've found. So I'm going to use it under my eyes before I do the rest of my face with it. And I don't think I'm gonna do any cream contour. I'm just gonna be highlighting the center of my face and then going in with a contour powder. So to set my under eyes, I'm using the E.L.F. HD Under Eye Setting Powder, which is definitely not new to me at all. And I'm using the small tapered brush, which is what I use so much. So I'm just gonna use that under my eyes. I don't like to bake with it. I just like to apply it and dust it off right away because it actually does a really good job, like instantly, of setting your eyes. And for my face, I'm using the HD powder, and they just repackaged this so like the powder is a lot smaller compared to the old packaging, or the packaging is a lot smaller, but I think the powder might be the same. I had the older version of it a while ago. And I'm not going to apply too much. I like to use a stiffle brush with this so that I don't get too much product on my face, because the foundation that I use is pretty matte. And I want to play with this cream eyeliner that I got from E.L.F. This is like a teal eyeliner. It looks so like pigmented. It's in the shade Teal Tease. I just unpackaged it. And it's a cream eyeliner, so I know I want this for my lower lash line. Let me get a little eyeliner brush. So I'm using a eyebrow brush. This is a different eyebrow brush as my liner brush. And this looks really creamy. Like I just put my brush in there and it's basically melting into it. So I might need a denser brush. And it's so pretty. It has some shimmer in there. I've never used a color like this. So let's see what I can get. And I do realize I don't have anything to set this color with because there's no shade in here. So even though it's cream, hopefully it does just dry and not smudge in the next like little bit as I finish my makeup. So I really like this shade. Sometimes I do blue on the lower lash line, but it's a lot more neutral of blue and then it looks like nothing. So I think, let me see what I want to do. I'm going to add another shade from the Prismatic Shadow palette. I think just maybe a little bit of this white shade. And layer that on. Just in the inner corner. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the inner corner and like in my tear duct. So that makes me really happy about the eyes. I'm just gonna apply some mascara on the lower lashes. So eyes are done and I was a little nervous about them, but I'm really liking the eye look. The rest of the face will be easy because I'm using products that I already know that I love. So I'm using this duo in the shade St. Lucia. I've been wearing this all week. I've been obsessed with it. I mentioned it in my PR haul. And I'm using this angled brush. I'll leave it linked down below. I think it's like the airbrush stipple brush. I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll leave it down below for you guys. I'm using it with this bronzer color, which is kind of a contour shade too. I've been using it to contour for the past week and it looks good. And I'm using the blush with an E.L.F. complexion brush. I have the blush brush, but I can't find it at the moment. But I like all of these face brushes. Are really lightweight and really blendable. They blend everything out really easily. And this blush just looks so natural. And you guys know I like really natural blushes. But it still does have a peachy tone to it, which I think looks really pretty with a bronzy eye look. So to highlight, I'm using the E.L.F. Illuminating Palette. This has been super loved throughout the year. I'm definitely going to use this peachy shade on my cheeks. And I'm using the E.L.F. highlighting brush. These are so pigmented. There's a ton of fallout when I use it. But they are really, really creamy too. And I think this palette is like $6. You guys can see it gives like a really natural highlighted look. And I'm using an E.L.F. fan brush. I'm going to use this kind of light neutral shade down the center of my face. I like that these powders are basically like strobing powders. And I'm going to use that light shade on my brow bone. I think it'll be really pretty too. So on my lips, I'm going to use this Duo lip pencil from E.L.F. and I'm going to use this matte shade all over and then probably this shimmer shade in the center. I might top it with a lip gloss, but I want to see what this looks like with this eye look. I want to tone down the pink in the lip color a little bit, so I'm using this lip lacquer in Natural, which is super nude. I just want to use a little bit, maybe, we'll see, on the center of my lips. Okay, I could use this all over. It's not like super nude. Alright guys, so this is the completed makeup look using all e.l.f. makeup, and I definitely like how it turned out. Some of the products that were newer to me today, I definitely like so far, like this lip gloss and this blue eyeliner I'm really liking. And also the lashes, I've used a couple different pairs of e.l.f. lashes before, and I really like this pair too, so I definitely recommend the e.l.f. lashes. A lot of the products that I've used, I've loved for years or for months, so everything that I used today, I definitely recommend, other than maybe the eyeliner. I think that's the only thing I really had trouble with, but everything else was super easy to use and everything was really pigmented too. I've been using a lot of the face products and also the palettes for months, so I definitely recommend all of those products, and definitely let me know your favorite e.l.f. products in the comments down below. And if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
We are